of Africa. The face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello and welcome. I'm Gamichi Samandida and you're tuned into POA News. Keep with us for comprehensive coverage of the stories influencing our region and beyond. Mozambique has announced new limits on the import of certain goods as part of efforts to address a severe shortage of foreign currency. The measures are intended to safeguard the country's external financial position and prioritize the use of foreign exchange for essential needs. The government approved a decree establishing temporary quantitative restrictions on what it classifies as non-essential imports. Speaking after a cabinet meeting, Council of Ministers spokesperson Mpisa said the policy aims to ensure priority allocation for foreign currency while boosting the competitiveness of emerging domestic industries. Products affected by the restrictions include bottled mineral water, pasta, Portland cement, maize flour, tiles and salt. Authorities have not yet disclosed details regarding the duration, start date or volume limits of the measures. The import controls follow recent steps by the Bank of Mozambique to curb capital flight, including a cap of 6 million meticais, about $93,900 per year on payments made with bank cards abroad. That measure applies to individuals and institutions holding Mozambican-issued cards and is set to remain in force for 12 months. While the government says the combined measures are designed to revive national production and improve foreign exchange efficiency, some importers and economic analysts warn that the restrictions could disrupt supply chains and negatively affect the broader economy. The Central African Republic has launched construction of the Mongoba River port with the laying of a foundation stone, marking a new phase in the development of the CD13 multimodal transport corridor. The ceremony, held on 10 December 2025, was led by President Faustin Archange Tondora and attended by Prime Minister Felix Mola, senior government officials, African Development Bank representatives, development partners and local community leaders. President Tondora said the project reflects his commitment to building a modern and open Central African Republic, strengthening connectivity and economic exchange in the sub-region and creating growth, hope and opportunities for the country. The Mongoba port will serve as a strategic river transport link between Central African Republic and the Republic of Congo, helping to improve regional connectivity, reduce supply delays and inflation, attract private investment and create jobs in logistics and related services. Moving to Liberia, Liberia has secured approval from the Global Environment Facility for a major project aimed at reducing mercury pollution from artisanal and small-scale gold mining with support from the African Development Bank Group. The project includes $7.67 million in Global Environment Facility financing and $24.57 million in indicative co-financing from the bank group. The initiative marks Liberia's entry into the Planet Gold program, a global effort to reduce mercury use while improving environmental protection and livelihoods. It focuses on strengthening policies and regulations, expanding access to finance, promoting mercury-free technologies, and building partnerships across government, communities, and the private sector. The project builds on the African Development Bank's ongoing support to improve governance and transparency in Liberia's mining sector. Bank Group officials said the approval demonstrates how institutional reforms can be scaled up into broader environmental and socio-economic transformation. Mercury pollution from gold mining poses serious risks to human health, water resources, forests and biodiversity in Liberia. The largely informal nature of artisanal mining has also contributed to deforestation and economic vulnerability among miners. Over 5 years, the project is expected to reduce 50 metric tons of mercury, restore 10,000 hectares of degraded land, avoid 148,000 metric tons of CO emissions, and improve working conditions and livelihoods for 20,000 people, including 12,000 women, while supporting Liberia's commitments under the Manmata Convention on Mercury. The Board of Directors of the African Development Fund has approved a $23.36 million grants package to expand access to clean and reliable electricity in Bosaso, Somalia, through the rehabilitation and expansion of the Bosaso power grid and a strengthening of energy sector institutions project. The financing includes $9.62 million from the African Development Fund and $13.74 million from the Transition Support Facility. The project will add solar power generation, expand the electricity distribution network, install modern meters, and provide solar home systems to households without access to electricity, including internally displaced people. Somalia has one of the world's lowest electricity access rates, with about half of the population living without power. Those connected face high costs due to reliance on diesel generators, which are expensive and highly polluting, while weak institutional capacity has constrained effective sector management. Boubacar Sankara, the African Development Bank Group's lead operations advisor for Somalia, said the project will make electricity cheaper, cleaner and more reliable, improving living conditions for families and supporting the growth of small businesses in Bosaso. The project is expected to lower electricity costs, create jobs, strengthen energy institutions and significantly reduce carbon emissions by replacing diesel generation with solar power, supporting Somalia's long-term climate and development goals. Moving to business news, the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation has signed a $553 million loan agreement with a consortium of firms to refurbish a key railway line in Angola, part of the strategic Lobito Critical Minerals Transport Corridor. The loan will finance the Lobito Atlantic Railway, a consortium comprising Portugal's Mota Angel, commodities trader Trafigura, and rail operator Vecturas South Africa. The Development Bank of Southern Africa will contribute an additional $200 million to the project, which was first announced last year and has now been finalized. The U.S.-backed Lobito Corridor aims to link copper and cobalt mines in Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo to Angola's Atlantic port of Lobito. According to the Development Finance Corporation, the funding will also support the rehabilitation and operation of the existing minerals port in Lobito, increasing transport capacity tenfold to 4.6 million metric tons and reducing the cost of shipping critical minerals by up to 30%. Lobito Atlantic Railway, which won a 30-year concession to operate Angola's Benguela rail line in 2022, plans to invest in rolling stock and staff training. The corridor includes plans to build 515 km of new rail in Zambia and 315 km in the Democratic Republic of Congo, linking to Angola's 1,300 km Benguela line. Diageo has agreed to sell its 65% stake in Eastern Africa breweries to Japan's Asahi Holdings for $2.3 billion, marking the British Spirits Group's exit from direct ownership of an African beer business. The transaction values Nairobi-listed East African breweries at about $4.8 billion, making it one of the largest deals in East Africa's consumer goods sector and the biggest investment by a Japanese brewer in an African alcohol company, the firm said. Ibo, which operates in Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, will retain ownership of its local brands, including Tusker beer. It will sign new production and distribution agreements with Diageo to manufacture Guinness and selected spirits while importing others. Diageo said the sale aligns with its strategy to reduce debt and focus on core assets as it faces higher tariffs in the U.S., rising debt levels and shifting consumer drinking habits. Interim CEO Nick Jangiani said the deal would strengthen the company's balance sheet and deliver value to shareholders. Asahi, which is seeking growth opportunities outside its home market, said East African Breweries offers a strong portfolio of brands, marketing capabilities and production facilities. The transaction is expected to be completed in the second half of 2026. Now sports. Jordan and Morocco are preparing for Thursday's Arab Cup final, with both sides aiming to make history in the continental showpiece. Jordan reached the final for the first time after a narrow 1-0 victory over Saudi Arabia. Head coach Jamal Salami said his team is ready for the challenge, adding that while Morocco have strong players and high technical quality, Jordan have the ability to limit their opponents and push for a first-ever international title. Morocco, meanwhile, cruised into the final with a convincing 3-0 win over the United Arab Emirates and have been training in Losail ahead of the match. Walid Regragui side are widely seen as favourites to lift the trophy. Morocco coach Tariq Sekti said his team's objective is clear, stressing that honouring Moroccan football means winning the Arab Cup, not just reaching the final. Player Marouni Londi added that the squad understands the responsibility and is focused on being fully prepared to please Moroccan fans. The Atlas Lions are chasing their second Arab Cup title after lifting the trophy in 2012 and will look to draw on their recent success, including their historic run to the World Cup semi-finals in Qatar, as they aim to add another honour to their record. Let's review the latest forecast to get an idea of the upcoming weather conditions throughout the region. That's it from POA News Hour that's up from POA News for this hour, and thank you very much for joining us, and stay tuned. Goodbye.